California's Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger blasting lawmakers, including members of his own Republican Party, for blocking pension reform. The other group that's being blamed for standing in the way of reform is the state's very powerful Prison Guards Union. For more on this one, Schwarzenegger Press Secretary Aaron McLear joins the company again. Aaron, always good to see you. Did the governor single out the Prison Guards Union and say, hey, you guys, you really are blocking things? Did he do that?
Yeah, well, he actually called out the lawmakers who have got a lot of campaign donations from the Prison Guard Union for blocking this. You know, we always talk about Democrats being in bed with the public employee unions. Well, as it turned out, the night we voted on pension reform, it was the Republicans who were in bed with the Prison Guard Union that were blocking pension reform, and the governor thought it was necessary to tell the people of California what was happening.
Now, as I understand it, the Prison Guards Union is indeed very, very powerful. And it's very large. I think it's at least as large or maybe even bigger than the police union. And I am told that prison guards make $70,000 a year. That's an average. But they all work overtime because you've got jam-packed full prisons. They jack that up to $100,000 a year, retire in their mid-50s with about an average, I believe, of $80,000, $90,000 a year for thousands and thousands of former prison guards. You can't do anything about that?
Well, we did. With the pension reform we got, the CCPOA, which is the Prison Guard Union, they did not agree to terms with the state. So what happens to them is they get furloughed 3 days a month for the next year. So any unions that didn't come in and agree to pension reform, they're just going to get furloughed. So we're going to get those savings one way or the other. But it's important that we do this. It's not just Democrats. It's also Republicans that are out there in bed with these unions. And the governor's going to call it like he sees it. If he sees hypocrisy out there, he's going to call it.
3 days furlough. I take it that's unpaid, right? You leave the job, you're away for 3 days, you don't get paid. It's
a 15% pay cut.
Now, on our show yesterday, we had someone from the Reason Foundation who's saying, look, you've got an ongoing structural deficit. I'm not sure what that means, but a structural deficit in California of $20 billion. And that's ongoing. It's going to recur in about that size next year. Now, is that roughly accurate?
I think it's a little less than that, but he's right. I'm assuming it was Kavanaugh on yesterday, but it's about the same. Yeah, it's roughly that. It's maybe a little bit less, but 48 states are going to be in deficit next year. We're not the only state.
No,
we're not the only country in the world going through this.
I'm just trying to give our viewers an understanding of how big a problem you've got here, and the idea of just 3 days a month for your prison guards union. Okay, you get some savings, but come on, you can't make a dent in $20 billion with 3 days of furloughs for prison guards.
Well, that's the same amount of savings we're getting from all the unions who came in and agreed to pension reform. So all the unions are giving up 15% of their pay next year, whether it's through furloughs or pension reform or pay cuts. So we won that in the budget battle, and it's important to do so. A study just came out this morning from the Milken Institute down in Santa Monica, saying within 2 years our pension obligations will outgrow 5 times the amount of our revenue. So we're going to be spending 5 times as much on pensions than we do have revenues coming into the state. So we have to keep up this fight. But the governor did win this battle.
Okay, you give credit where credit's due. I just want to make our viewers understand that the magnitude of the problem. If what the Milken Institute says is true, you know, you face default at the very least, don't you? I mean, is that bad?
No more than the other 48 states are going to be in deficit next year, Stuart. Look, you know, you talked about the way in which we solved this problem. We cut $30 billion last year. We cut another $8 billion this year. The governor did $1 billion in vetoes for even more cuts. So we've been cutting our way out of this, and it's not been easy. But we have won some of these reforms, the budget reform and of course the pension reform, and those have been hard-fought battles. But it's important that we fight that.
Can I get your reaction to news that we broke about 40 minutes ago from Intel? A California company, they're going to build a factory in Oregon, employing 8,000 people, investing $6-8 billion. They're going to Oregon. You're in California. You're losing jobs. You're losing high tech. What do you say to this?
Well, we certainly gain more than we lose, and I think that's because California is always a place where people want to do business. But I think the point you're kind of making is right. We can do better at making a good business environment here, and that's why the governor fought for some of these tax credits for businesses to be able to grow and create jobs. The Democrats want to do away with those. In fact, there's a ballot initiative this year in November to do away with those, and the governor's fighting that. He wants to make sure we have a good business environment so companies like Intel and others stay here and companies come here and grow.
All right, Aaron McLear. You've been a frequent guest on this program, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much, Aaron. Good stuff.
Thank you, Stuart.
Okay.
All right.